Good morning, students. Today we will learn Imperium of unit. Okay. So first of all, the objective of this topic is at the end of the session you will be able to know that the structure of the normal breast and describe the stages of the lactation, composition of the breast milk, then factors affecting the lactation and medication that affect into the lactation period. Okay. So next one, the definition of the lactation. So what is the lactation period? Lactation describes the production of breast milk and its secretion from the mammary gland after the delivery. So basically, from the woman's breast in normal puerperium period, or we can say that the postnatal period, the woman is feeding that child. Okay, so lactation is production of the breast milk from woman's breast in normal puerperium period after the delivery. So that is called as a lactation period. Next one is the structure of the breast. So what are the structure included into the breast? So first of all, the parenchyma. It consists of the 10 to 15 ducts extending from the nipple to terminate in grapes-like cluster that is known as the alveoli, and via ductals from the lobules. So in next figure you will easily understand for the what kind of the structure included into the breast, that is alveoli, nipple. Okay. So parenchyma is consist of the 10 to 15 duct into the grapes like structure that is called as the alveoli. Okay. So and there are 15 to 20 pyramid shaped lobes separated by the copper ligament and each by co-upper ligament, and each contain the lobules which are further separated by the fat and connective tissues. Okay. So pyramid shaped lobes are known as the lobules, that is 15 to 20 and separated by the fat and connective tissue. So in that structure all are included by fat, connective tissue, alveoli, nipple. Okay, all are included in that figure, and nipple surrounded by area of the hyperpigmented skin, that is areola. So in this image you can easy to understand that what are the lobules. This is the alveoli, that is grapes like structure. Okay. Then myoepithelial cells are also included into the structure of the breast. Then these kind of the thin are ductals. This is the mammary gland and secrete milk from this gland, and milk secreting epithelial cells. Okay. So this is areola. This is outermost layer, that is nipple and lactiferous duct. Okay. So it is also known as the ampulla. And lobules and alveola. It consists the crepes-like structure. Okay. And these all are the adipose tissue and pectoralis majors. Okay. So this is the basic structure of the breast. Next, then physiology of the lactation. This is the most important topic of the unit, that is the physiology of lactation. In lactation period is divided into the 5 stages. Okay. So lactation period divided into the 5 basic stages, that is mammogenesis, lactogenesis, galactokinases, galactopoiesis and involution. Okay. So what is the meaning of the mammogenesis? So in this stage the development of the breast occur and breast becomes into the functional state. So breasts are prepared for the secreting and synthesis of the breast milk. Okay. That is known as the mammogenesis, means development of the breast for it becomes into the functional state. Next one is the lactogenesis. So what is the meaning of lactogenesis? So in this state, the synthesis and secretion of the milk from the breast alveoli. Okay, we already learned that is the group of the ductals, and the in it becomes into the grapes like structure that is called as the alveoli. So in from the breast alveoli the synthesis and secretion of the milk is occurred. Okay, so the This stage is known as the lactogenesis. Then galactokinases. So the ejection of milk outside from the breast is known as a galactokinases. Obviously, after the secretion and synthesis of milk, milk become outside of the breast. So ejection of milk is known as a galactokinases. Then galactopoiesis means maintenance of the whole lactational period is known as a galactopoiesis. And what is the involution? That is regression and atrophy post lactation. Okay. So the whole tissues and cells are regrade from that normal state into the postpartum period, that is called as the involution. Okay. So these all are stages of the lactation. We can also say that the physiology of the lactation. Okay. So next we will learn about the description of these all 5 stages. First one, mammogenesis. So in mammogenesis, we already learned that is the breast are prepared for the functional state. Okay, so development of the breast occurs into this stage. Growth of duct and alveolar system. So whole development of the ductus, alveolus and the lobules. Okay. Then this start from the birth to puberty period and continue till the pregnancy. So this period is starting from the birth to puberty and continue till the pregnancy. Next one is the ductal sprouting predominates in first trimester and lobular sprouting occurs more in second trimester. Okay. So ductals are sprouting in first trimester and lobular sprouting into the second trimester. Okay. Hence the breast will contain more glandular epithelial cells and then stroma. Okay. So just before and during the parturition means delivering of the baby process is known as a parturition. So during the whole process there is a new wave of the mitotic activity causing the growth and maturation. Okay. So in this phase, in short, you will remember that the preparation and development of the breast to become into the functional state is known as a mammogenesis. So what kind of the hormonal are affected in this state? Okay. So hormonal influence during the mammogenesis period, that is the prepubertal growth, depend on the estrogen and progesterone level. So we all know that the estrogen and progesterone are mainly affected into the lactational period. So secretion of the prolactin and somatotropin by the pituitary gland result into the mammary growth. So in the mammary gland means in the breast development, the secretion of the prolactin and somatotropin are majorly take part, okay, by secreting from the pituitary gland, and the adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH and the thyroid stimulating hormone, that is TSH, both are acting on the adrenal gland and thyroid gland for play a minor role in the growth of the mammary gland. So basically these all are hormone responsible for the development of the breast, that is prolactin, ACTH, TSH, estrogen and progesterone. Okay. So these all hormones have main common basic function, that is the development and growth of the mammary gland. Okay. Then pubertal growth. These all are in pre-pubertal growth. And next one is a pubertal growth. When the hypophyseal ovarian uterine cycle is established, there is an expansive branching of the duct system and parenchymal proliferation and canalization of the lobulo-alveolar units controlled by the estrogen and the progesterone. So the estrogen and progesterone level function is mainly occurs into the pubertal growth for the proliferation and canalization of the lobulo-alveolar unit. Now during pregnancy, in early pregnancy, a marked increase into the ductular sprouting, branching and lobular formation is evoked by the luteal placental hormone. Okay. So the progesterone, estrogen and prolactin function are given here. So the progesterone works causes increased growth of the alveoli size and lobules. Since the size and alveoli are increased, during the mammogenesis, and in the estrogen level, it stimulates the milk duct system to grow, differentiate, deposition of the fat occurs due to the estrogen, and due to the prolactin, it contributes the increased growth and differentiation of the alveoli and ductal structure. So these all are hormone affected during the mammogenesis stage. Now, type of the lobule. So what are the types of lobule? That is 4 types of lobule. Virginal lobule, then second one, changing in level of the estrogen and progesterone. Third, in pregnancy, that is 80 lobules. And fourth one is attended into the late pregnancy with the breast milk. Okay. So type 1 lobule, when an average of the alveolar buds and ductals cluster around the terminal duct. This is apparent within 1 to 2 years after onset of the menses. So after the onset of the menses, within 1 to 2 years, this kind of the lobules are occurs, and average of the ductals are clustered around to the terminal duct. Okay, so this is the type 1 lobules. Type 2 lobule, it changing level of the estrogen and progesterone during the menstrual cycle, and its stimulation the type 1 lobules to sprout new alveolar buds and evolve to the mature structure. Type 2, that is 47 lobules. Okay, so type 2 is depend on to the estrogen and progesterone level, which occurs during the menstruation cycle and produce the sprout new alveolar duct be evolve for the mature structure, that is type 2 47 lobules, and type 3 consists of 80 lobules which occurs into the pregnancy, and type 4 lobule attend into the late pregnancy with the breast milk. Okay, so is that clear? 4 type of the lobules. So in this figure you can easily find out the 4 types of the lobules. So this is the type 1, that is breast with the buds. Okay, so average of the starting from menses within 1 to 2 years. Then type 2, that is breast after the puberty. Okay, so these all are the single one, and into the after type 2, the type 3 lobule occurs into the pregnancy. So these you can find out the cluster of the ductus and alveoli breast with the pregnancy. Okay, so it is seen like the grape-like structure. Okay, and type 4 with the breast milk. Okay, so these all are the types of the breast lobules. So we'll learn about the first stage, that is the mammogenesis of the lactation. Now we'll learn about the lactogenesis stage 2. So stage 1 occurs into the mid-pregnancy. There is initiation of the milk synthesis. We already know that is the lactogenesis. It becomes into the synthesis and secretion of the breast milk. Okay, so there is an initiation of the milk synthesis occurs, and alveoli differentiate into the secretory cells, and prolactin stimulate the mammary secretion cells to the produce milk. Okay, so insulin and serum growth factor also induce the cell division of stem cell of the gland, and presence of the cortisol for formation of the alveoli is required for induction of the milk synthesis. We know that the lactogenesis is for the synthesis and secretion of the breast milk, but for the synthesis and secretion there is a hormonal level important, that is insulin serum growth factor, because due to that factor presence of the cortisol is, and it makes the formation of the alveoli for prepare the induction of the milk synthesis. Okay, so further differentiation is inhibited by the high levels of the progesterone from the placenta and loss of the progesterone receptor in the lactating breast. So what is the function of the prolactin? So exerts in it affects through the receptor for the initiation of the milk secretion located on the alveolar surface. So milk is found into the alveolar surface. Then stabilizing the promote the transcription of the mRNA, stimulate the synthesis of the lactoalbumin, which is regulatory protein of lactose synthesis enzyme system. So due to this enzyme, the lactoalbumin is active and it will help into the synthesis of the breast milk. Okay, So increase the lipoprotein activity also in the mammary gland. So protein activity also increase into the mammary gland, and in conjunction with estrogen and progesterone level, it attracts the retained IgA immunoblast, because we already know that the breast milk have a many protein, vitamins, then electrolytes and IgA bodies. Okay, so it may help into the growth and development of the baby, so that he or she can fight out from the antibodies. So estrogen enhance the prolactin production by 10 to 20 fold, and this is regulated by the human placental lactogen, which has inhibitory effect. And the inhibited by prolactin inhibiting hormone factor under control of the catecholamines is the hypothalamus. So during the intrapartum period, whole pregnancy phase, the mother have human placental lactogen, which transmitted to the baby for the inhibitory effect. So this is stage 1 of the lactogenesis. And what are the changes occur into the stage 2 of the lactogenesis? From late pregnancy to day 8, this is triggered by the rapid drop into the progesterone level after the placental delivery. So after the placental delivery, progesterone level is very high, and it required the presence of the elevated levels of the prolactin and cortisol, insulin, growth hormone, parathyroid hormone to facilitate the mobilization of the nutrients and minerals. So due to all these hormones, the mobilization of the nutrients and minerals occurs, and there is a switch from endocrine to autocrine control. So into the pituitary gland and endocrine, the autoimmune system occur, and this kind of the balance maintained into the mother. Okay. And lactogenesis pathway for the milk secretion into the mammary epithelial cells, that is exocytosis, reverse pinocytosis, apical transport, transcriptosis and paracellular. Okay, so in this figure you can easily find out, because in description you may confuse. So in this we will include the 5 pathways of the milk secretion. That is, first one is a exocytosis. So from here the exocytosis are secrete. Then second, reverse pinocytosis. So from this the reverse pinocytosis occurs. Then apical transport. So transportation, apical transport is done from here, okay, between the cell, and the transcriptosis, 4 factor, and last one is a paracellular pathway. So from this to this line, okay. So this is the pathway of the milk secretion by the mammary epithelial cells. In these figures also mention the pathway of the hormone and milk secretion. Now galactokinosis. So what is the galactokinosis? So in galactokinosis, the ejection of the milk from the breast occurs. Okay. So depend on the sucking mechanism of the newborn baby, and the contractile action will express the milk from the alveoli and into the ductus. Okay. So from nipple of the woman breast, the newborn baby may try for the sucking mechanism for taking the breast milk from the mother. So in that the oxytocin may help. Okay. So this contractile action is brought about the action of the oxytocin, and milk let down reflex and ejection reflex may occur. So while baby is sucking and trying to getting the breast milk from the mother, the oxytocin may help into the contraction of the alveoli into the ductus. Okay. So due to that, the milk ejection occurs from the mother's breast, and inhibited by the psychic condition, pain and breast engorgement. Okay. So due to this kind of the condition may inhibited. And how oxytocin may help? So we already learned that it released from the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland during the nipple stimulation or sensory stimulation, and due to that it causes the ejection of the milk from the alveoli and ductus gland by the contractile action, by myoepithelial cells introduce the and introductal and ductus. Okay, so oxytocin main action is the contraction mechanism from the mother's woman's breast and baby sucking reflex. Okay, so here it will described by the psychopathology during sucking and condition of the reflex is set up. The ascending impulses from the nipple and areola occurs and the paraventricular and supraoptic nuclei of the hypothalamus active and it will release the oxytocin from the posterior pituitary gland for producing and mechanism of the contraction is occurs. Okay, so due to that, the milk ejection and milk letdown reflex occur from the baby sucking power and milk is forced down into the ampulla of the lactoferous ductus. Okay, so by this mechanism, the baby can suck the woman's breast milk feeding. Okay, so this occurs between the 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, in this figure also described by the lactation, okay, by baby sucking. Then galactopoiesis. Prolactin is the hormone for maintenance of the lactation and in sucking is essential for maintenance of the milk secretion. Okay, so by the prolactin hormone, the lactation process is maintained and by sucking power of the baby, the maintenance of the milk secretion is maintained. Okay, so periodic breastfeeding relieves the pressure into the ductus and alveoli for promote the more secretion. We already learned about the simple meaning of the galactopoiesis, that is the secretion maintenance of the lactation phase. Okay, so periodically breastfeeding relieves the pressure of the breast and ductus into the woman. Okay, so woman can feel relief and the control by the autocrine system. So supply is demand and last phase is the involution, that is the failure of the failure procedure. Okay, so apoptotic cell death and tissue remodeling post lactation. We already learned that the meaning of the involution means degradation of the tissues and cells. Okay, so cells and tissues are degenerated into the post lactational period and it requires a combination of the lactogenetic hormone and deprivated and local signals to the undergo regression and the atrophy may occur, means the degradation of the cells and tissue occurs into the involution phase into postpartum period or post-lactational period. Okay, so today we learn about the whole physiology of the lactation. In that we will be included that the 5 stages, that is the mammogenesis, lactogenesis, galactopoiesis, galactokinesis and involution. Okay, so by here I will stop. If you have any doubt, you may ask. Thank you.